I am on a mission to build a farm for every item in Minecraft. I've already built farms for hundreds of different items, but today I'm going to be building farms for some of the most useless items in the game. Some of these farms will be small, and some will be giant. So I'm going to start with the simplest farms and work my way up to the most complex. Right, the first farm I'm going to build is a scoop farm. It's also going to produce seagrass, but I've already got a farm for that, so the reason I'm building this farm is just for scoops. To build this farm, I'm going to need loads of different items, so let's go and get them. To do that, I headed to my base, and I got some sand, and then lime concrete powder, which I took to my concrete converter and converted it into concrete. Then I got some stone, and I crafted some of it into bricks and some of it into walls. Next I got hoppers, chests, sea lanterns, I crafted oak fence gates, and then I got comparators, repeaters, torches, redstone, and I crafted crafting tables. And for the final item, I need to breed loads of turtles to get turtle eggs, because turtles is what's going to be producing the scoops and the seagrass. And now, as you see here, I've got all the resources for the farm. And I'm going to be building it right here, so let me get to work and do that now. And there we go, the farm is done. I've placed down all the turtle eggs, but I can't use the farm until all the turtles have hatched and fully grown into adults. Once that happens, I can remove all the temporary stone and actually start using the farm properly. So once all the turtles are grown up, I'll test the farm and show you how it works. But in the meantime, while I wait for that to happen, I'm going to be building more farms in the area so that the turtle eggs are loaded so that they can hatch. Also, look at this. While I was lighting up underneath the farm, a skeleton managed to shoot a creeper, dropping a music disc, and then the disc got blown up by another creeper. This is all quite ironic if you saw the farm that I built in the last video. Anyway, the next farm that I'm going to build will be at Spawn, which I recently transformed in this video. It's going to go right here next to my dripstone farm, and like most of the farms here at Spawn, it's going to involve a flying machine. So what I need to do first is dig a hole for the rails underground, so that they can collect the items that the flying machines break above ground. So let's start digging. And there we are, the hole is dug. I've made room for the rails to go along here, and then the trenches dug sideways that you can see are for the redstone torches, which will power the rails. And then this deeper hole at the front is where the hopper minecarts will be unloaded. And now that's done, I need to get all the resources to build the farm itself. Luckily, this farm doesn't need too many different items. So I went and got some glass, grass, glowberries, weeping vines, and twisting vines. And I'm pretty sure you can probably guess what the farm is going to be for now. I barely have any of each of these vines, because apart from glowberries, I've never used them before, which is why the farm I'm going to build now is useless. I decided to farm all 3 items with just one farm, because it's so much easier than building 3 separate ones. And anyway, all of these plants grow in the same way, so it just makes sense. Anyway, then I crafted powered rails, and got some oak leaves, redstone torches, rails, sea lanterns, stone bricks, redstone dust, observers, droppers, sticky pistons, slime blocks, hoppers, cauldrons, packed ice, amethyst clusters, detector rails, dispensers, target blocks, note blocks, soul sand, spruce fence gates, dirt, stone brick slabs, comparators, repeaters, pistons, obsidian, spruce signs, hopper minecarts, and finally I added to my lava farm and got a load of lava buckets. And now that's everything I need to build this massive farm. So it's actually going to have 2 flying machines, one to harvest the top and one to harvest the bottom. But let me get on and build it so I can show you how it works properly. And that is the farm done. It took me a little while to grow enough vines to fill the farm, but as you can see, I eventually did. Now, this farm is super over the top for what I need, like with all the farms in this video. Where I'm trying to farm every single item in the game, I don't just want to build rubbish farms, I want to build the best farms that I can for every single item. Like with this farm, that produces more vines than I'm ever going to use. So as you see on the top, there is the weeping vines and the glowberries, and on the bottom is the twisting vines. So the way that the farm works is that all the vines grow. Then when the weeping vines grow up to this observer, it activates it and both of the flying machines set off, breaking the vines. Then when the flying machines get to the other end, they get sent back flying the other way, but they also set off the hopper minecarts, which go and collect all the items that the flying machines have broken. Then when those minecarts get back, all the items get taken out, then they get sorted and loaded into shulker boxes. Then those shulker boxes are stored in my spawn storage room I built a few videos ago. This is still one of my favourite builds ever, I just love how it looks. So now that you know how it works, let's test the farm for a bit to see how many vines it will get me in an hour. And it's been just over an hour now, and as you saw, the farm was working perfectly. All the vines have been growing and being harvested. Let's head down into my storage room to see how much we got. First, I got one shulker box of glowberries, which is pretty good. Next, I've got 2 shulker boxes of weeping vines, even better. And finally, I've got 5 shulker boxes of twisting vines. I've got over double of these because there's twice as many twisting vines as any other type planted in the farm. Because on the roof it's half weeping vines and half glowberries, but on the floor it's only twisting vines, because they're the only ones that grow upwards, which just mean I get more of them. Anyway, with that farm completed and now tested, let's move on to the next one. By the way, if you thought this farm was big, just wait until the final farm. It is absolutely giant and super complex. This next farm, just like the first two, is going to be one that gets me multiple different items. So, let me quickly get everything I need to build it. Firstly, I got some stone bricks, then glass, hoppers, chests, rails, comparators, levers, observers, droppers, redstone dust, sea lanterns, grass, stone brick stairs, pistons, repeaters, pink petals, wildflowers, drip leaves, and sweet berries. That's everything I'm going to need to build the farm. On my way to where I was going to build the farm, I grabbed a couple of shulker boxes of bone meal to test it later. So, I'm going to be building it here, not far from the turtle farm. You've probably worked out what it is by now, but if you haven't, it's 4 farms in one to get pink petals, wildflowers, drip leaves and sweet berries by bone milling them. I'll show you how it all works properly in a little bit, but first I need to build it, so let's do that. There we go, it's finished. It's one of the smallest farms in this video, but it produces one of the highest number of items. As you see, there are 4 separate spots for the 4 different plants. I've already loaded up all the bone meal, so let's get to work testing it. First, let's do sweet berries. Unfortunately, this one isn't fully automatic, so we need to stand here and right click to harvest the berries whilst they're being bone milled. And here they are coming into the chest. The next 2 plants are the wildflowers and pink petals, and these ones are fully automatic. All I need to do is switch it on, and then while it's getting bone milled, the item drops. You can see they're coming through here. And the last plant is drip leaf, which isn't automatic either. So I need to stand here and place a new plant when the old one gets broken. Like this. And there we are, they have all come through as well. Now, that's another farm complete. Because that one was so quick to build, unfortunately, the turtles aren't ready yet. Some of them have hatched, as you can see, but to test it, we need all of them to be fully grown. But luckily, the next 2 farms will also be built in this area too, so it will give them more time to grow up. Speaking of those farms, the next one is going to be quite a big one, so let's get on and gather the resources for it. First, I went to my gravity block duper and got loads of sand. Then I took all that sand to my super smelter and popped it in and got it smelting all into glass. And now all the glass has come through. Then I got vines, which kind of gives away what this farm's for. Next, stone brick slabs, packed ice, hoppers, honey, observers, droppers, spruce signs, stone brick stairs, obsidian, sea lanterns, chests, repeaters, comparators, sticky pistons, redstone, spruce trapdoors, spruce doors, powered rails, levers, and dispensers. And that's everything collected to build the vine farm. There's quite a lot of items to build this farm, but most of it is just glass. Like I said earlier, it's going here, right by the turtle farm, so they can grow whilst I'm building it. A lot of the eggs have already started cracking, so it shouldn't be long until they all hatch. But let's get on and build the vine farm. There we go, the farm is completed. As you can see, it's a big one. Now, you may notice a lack of vines, and that's because to fully fill the farm, you need over 1,000 vines, and I only had 44. So I will need to wait a little bit for the vines to grow, so that I can then harvest some, and use them to fill the farm. But in the meantime, if we go in the control room, you can see this here is where the vines are going to come out. They'll be loaded into shulker boxes with this shulker box loader, and then the shulker boxes full of vines will come out into this chest. And this chest here is for shears, so that when my shears break, a new pair will be dispensed to me, because that's how I'm going to be harvesting the vines, using shears. So let's craft loads of shears, so that I can then fill up the chest, ready to test the farm. Before I do that though, there is one more part of the farm I still need to build, and that is the Haze Tube Beacon, which will allow me to mine vines so much faster, increasing the rates of this farm massively. So let's get to work and build the beacon over here. Perfect, it's done. As you can see, it's given me the Haze 2 effect. Now, I'm just going to test that I get the effect in the far corner of the farm. And, oh no, this corner is too far away from the beacon, so you don't get the haste effect. This isn't too much of an issue, it just means that right over here, you're going to be mining vines a little bit slower. So I could be lazy and leave the beacon where it is, but for once I'm not going to be. Let me just remove the beacon quickly. And now I'm going to rebuild it, but this time in the middle of the farm, so that hopefully the Haze 2 effect reaches the whole thing. There we are, that's the beacon built for the second time, and now if I test the two far corners, the effect reaches the whole farm. Perfect! So now, apart from the vines, the farm is fully ready to test. Let's go check up on another farm. As you can see, a lot of the turtles are now fully grown. There are just a few stragglers left behind. Luckily, I still have one more farm to build in this area, so whilst I'm doing that, hopefully the vines will grow and the turtles will hatch. Although, this is the smallest farm of the video by far. But let's get on and gather the resources to build it, even though there are barely any. So, I got cornflowers and poppies, which I crafted into blue and red dye, which I then combined to make purple dye. Then I crafted that purple dye with glass to make purple glass. Next I got chests, hoppers, I crafted a purple bed, next I got a nether brick fence, and purple carpet. And that is literally everything to build the farm, apart from one mob, which I'll get once the farm is built. So, it's going to be going here, right by the other farms that I've already built. So I'll quickly get on and build it. And there we go, look at that. I did say it was the smallest farm in the video, but there's still one more thing to do before the farm is complete. I need a tamed cat to go in here. Luckily, I know exactly where one is. If I head to spawn, on top of my giant nether portal is a cat. Don't ask why it's there, but it has no need to be, so we can take it and use it for the farm. Now if I take it back to the farm, all I need to do is get it in the box and attach the lead to the fence, and the farm is now done. Now, you may be wondering what this farm actually is. So, you may know that when you go to sleep with a tamed cat, it has a chance to drop a gift. This gift can be a number of different items, and this is what the farm does. It collects all of those gifts. It's a cat gift farm. But as I said, the way it works is you need to sleep with a tamed cat, and at the moment it's day, and you can't sleep in the day, so if we just wait a minute, now it's night. So now, when I go to sleep in the bed, the cat has a chance to drop a gift, and unfortunately, this time it didn't. But I will keep sleeping here throughout the video to get loads of different drops. As you can see, the next night when I went to sleep here, the cat gave me a gift. Unfortunately, it was the worst one, rotten flesh. And now, with that farm complete, there are only 2 more useless farms to build. And these are the biggest 2 farms, so I can't wait. But before I build them, I want to complete and test all of the farms that I've already built, which includes the turtle and vine farm. So I'm going to start by harvesting all the vines that have grown whilst I've been building the cat sleep farm, and then replanting them. So as you see here, I've managed to fill in about a quarter of the vine farm before I ran out of vines. Now, because I need them to grow more, and there are still turtles that haven't fully grown, I'm going to AFK underground for a few hours whilst I wait for everything to be ready. Now it's been a little or a long while, and you can see I've filled in all of the vines, and all of the turtles are fully grown. By the way, if you want to build any of the farms in this video yourself, all of the original designs are linked in the description. But with all the farms, I modified them slightly for this video. So if you want all of my modified designs of the farms, they are available for free on my Discord, which is also linked in the description. Anyway, now that both of these farms are completed, I'm going to start by testing the turtle farm. The first thing I need to do is remove all of the temporary stone. This was here so that when all of these turtles grew up, they would stay on top of the sand. But when I breed more turtles for the farm to work, I want the babies to fall down. And now, as you see, all the stone is gone, and the farm is ready to be tested. By the way, I've been sleeping in my cat farm a few times, and look at everything that it got me. So, to run the farm, I'm going to need seagrass. So, I went to my seagrass farm. But I actually built in the first useless farm video, so I guess this farm isn't actually useless anymore. And then, once I had loads, I headed back and used it to breed all of the turtles. Now, the way that this farm works is, as I'm doing right now, I breed up all the turtles. Then they lay eggs. After a while, these eggs will hatch, and then the baby turtles will fall down the gaps between the sand. Then, while they're down there, when they grow up into adult turtles, they will drop a scoop, which will get pushed by the water into the hopper. And because the turtle is now an adult, it is too big for the gap down there. So it starts to suffocate, and eventually it will die and drop seagrass. Both of these drops then get sorted and go into these chests here. Now that all the turtles have been bred, I'm going to have to wait a little bit for the eggs to hatch. So, whilst I do that, I'm going to test the vine farm. But as you can see though, it's becoming night, so let's go use the cat farm. And look, it got me a new item, chicken. So, to test the vine farm, the first thing I need to do is grab a pair of shears. Then I flick this lever to turn on the shear dropper. This is what will replace my shears when they break. Now that that's done, I can hop into the farm and get started. As you can see, the way it works is I get pushed along in this water stream. And I'm lined up against the honey for 2 reasons. Firstly, it means that I can break the back vine, but I don't break the glass at the back. And secondly, when I'm moving along the honey, I move at the perfect speed to break vines in the most efficient way. So, I'm now going to test the farm for a few hours to collect up loads and loads of vines. And in the meantime, all of the turtles should hatch. And now I've been AFKing at this farm for a few hours. So let's go see how many vines I got. Wow, that's so much more than I expected to get. I am literally never going to need to AFK at this farm again. Unless I need 10,000 vines for some reason, but I can't see that happening anytime soon. And as you can see in this chest, I've used about half of the shears that I put in earlier. Next, let's check up on the cat farm, because I've been using that a few times. And now I've got quite a few different items. I think the only one that I haven't got that it can drop is Phantom Membrane, but that has a much lower chance of dropping. So I'll have to use the farm so many more times before I get that. And finally, before I build the next farm, let's check up on the turtle farm. As you can see, there's still a lot of eggs, but that's because I went round and bred all the turtles again earlier. But let's check the chest to see how many items they dropped. In this chest, there's loads of seagrass, but the majority of that is from what I collected earlier at the seagrass farm. But with scoots, I have almost 2.5 stacks, which is so much more than I thought I would get. And although all these items are useless to me, they are still good to have, in the rare case that I might need them. And obviously, it all counts towards my goal of farming every single item in the game. But anyway, let's keep going with that aim and get to work on the next farm. So, I've once again headed to my base to start gathering the resources. Although this is going to be one of the biggest farms in the video, there aren't actually that many different items. There are just lots of a few items. So, first I got 6 shulker boxes of stone, which I then crafted into stone bricks. Then I got torches, spruce trapdoors, glass, obsidian, bells, turtle eggs, spruce doors, and finally, light grey carpet. And that's everything. I did say it wasn't much. Now I have all of the items, I'm going to set off and find somewhere to build the farm. Here we are, I've found this spot of ocean that means nothing else can spawn. And that reminds me, I haven't even told you what this farm is for. It's going to be a wandering trader farm. Now, this farm can get me all of the items that wandering traders trade, but the main reason that I'm building it is as a lead farm. Now, as well as every item in the game, I'm also trying to farm every mob in the game. So this will tick off 2 of the harder mobs, the wandering trader and the trader llama. And now, with all of that said, I'm going to get on and build it. And it's done! To be honest, it's basically just a giant platform with a nether portal in the middle. As you can see underneath here, this is where the traders will get sent into the nether. This happens so that I can AFK for hours without them despawning, because wandering traders despawn after a few hours. But by putting them in the nether, their despawn timer stops because they aren't loaded. So I can AFK here for as long as I want and get as many wandering traders as I need without any of them despawning. Now, to give you all context of where I've actually built this farm, over this side is my castle that I built a while ago, and on the other side is my mega base. So as you can see, it's actually really close to my mega base. It might be the closest farm to it. So, this farm works by wandering traders spawning up here on the platform. Then, they walk towards the bell, and because of the trapdoors, they fall down here and then get pushed into the nether portal. Then, in the nether, they come into this area, where I can trade with them, or if they've got no good trades, I can kill them. And that's all this farm has to it. So, I'm going to AFK for a few hours to test out the farm. Wandering traders don't spawn very often, so this may take a while, but I haven't seen a wandering trader for a little bit, so I think I'm due a spawn soon. So, I'm going to stand down here, and all I need to do is simply AFK. And for those of you who are wondering what the turtle egg and trapdoors are for, they're to get rid of zombie piglins if they spawn in the portal. It's been about 5 hours now, let's go see if we got any. So if I head into the nether, I've got one! As expected, he doesn't have any good trades, but it's always worth a look. So instead, I'm going to farm him for his leads. And I'm going to pop a little chest just out the front to store all the leads and the leather that they dropped. And that is another farm completed! Now there's only one farm left to build, and it's the biggest and most complicated farm of the video. But first, I need to head to my fish farm to grab some tropical fish and axolotls. Then I'm going to take them all to my aquarium, and I'm going to start naming them. And now that all the fish and axolotls have been named, I'm going to start adding them into tanks. So, if you're wondering who these fish have been named after, every single video I tell people that if they comment on the video, in the next video I'll name a fish after them. So, all of these fish here are named after the people who commented on my last video. Now, if you want a fish named after you in my next video, all that you need to do is leave a comment on this video. It can be anything you like. And once you've done that, I'll name a fish after you in the next video. Now, whilst you're down there leaving your comments, please don't forget to subscribe. This is only a small channel, it really helps and I really appreciate it. It means so much to me, so thank you all so much for the support. By the way, make sure to join the Discord, because I do updates about what I'm up to every single day. I also show sneak peeks and behind the scenes, and I'm always asking people for their ideas and feedback on future videos. So if you want to help with that, and also get all of the schematics from this video and all of my other videos, head over there now and come say hi. It would be lovely to have you. So now, let's get back to work on the final farm. And as usual, the first thing I need to do is gather the resources to build it. First, I need to head to my copper farm. I'm here for a lot of copper, and I don't have much at the moment, so so I'm going to start taking out the drowns. It's been a little while now, and I have all the copper that I need for the farm. This will all need to be fully oxidised, but placing 10,000 copper and waiting for it to oxidise would be a massive pain. So I'm just going to build the farm with regular copper and then let it oxidise. Now, this copper isn't decorational, it actually serves a key purpose in the farm. And that's because this farm is a copper oxidising farm, and copper oxidises quickly when it's next to already oxidised copper, which is what all of this copper will be. The oxidised copper that oxidises the unoxidised copper in my copper oxidising farm. Anyway, with all that said, I'm going to quickly gather all the rest of the resources. So first, I crafted a shulker box of repeaters, then I crafted a shulker box of pistons, and then I made them all sticky pistons. Next, I got white glass, and crafted some regular pistons. After that, I got some observers, slime, honey, obsidian, white concrete, redstone dust, iron bars, chests, then I crafted target blocks. And next I grabbed blackstone walls, powered rails, hoppers, note blocks, quartz stairs, oak leaves, grey concrete, redstone blocks, comparators, redstone torches, levers, iron doors, iron trapdoors, warp signs, oak logs, crafting tables, barrels, stone bricks, sand, sea lanterns, activator rails, dark oak signs, droppers, dispensers, TNT, copper bulbs, emerald blocks, stone buttons, spruce trapdoors, and finally I headed to my powdered snow farm and got some powdered snow. And with all of that, I now have everything that I need to build the final farm of the video. As you can see, I need loads of items to build this farm because it's a super complex one. So let's take all of these resources over to where I'm going to be building the farm, which is going to be over here, so that I can farm the copper there and oxidise it here. Once I've built the farm, of course. So I'm going to get on and do that now. Let's go! There we are, that's the final farm built. I think it looks super cool. As I said earlier, all this copper needs to be fully oxidised for the farm to work. And you can see some of it has already started to oxidise, but it needs to be all fully oxidised for the farm to work. So I'll wait to test the farm until then. But this chest here is where I put shulker boxes full of copper in, and then in here, when I flick the lever on, I can start placing copper and then the machine will distribute it. And over here at the end, the copper will come into these chests. I could have shulker box loaders, but I decided not to, because copper can come through in all 4 of the different stages, and there are lots of different copper blocks that I can use, such as stairs and slabs and the copper grate, which means I would need loads of item sorters to filter all the items, and then loads of individual shulker box loaders, which I just don't think would be worth it. But anyway, whilst I wait for all the copper to oxidise, I'm going to AFK over at my copper farm. By turning up my render distance to 32 chunks, this farm will be loaded, so the copper should be oxidising. So while all the copper's oxidising, I'm going to farm a load of drowns so that I can get copper to then test the farm. So I'll see you in a little bit once all the copper on the farm is oxidised. There we are, it's taken a long time, but all the copper at the farm has now oxidised. And in that time, look at all the copper blocks I managed to get. I'm going to take all 12 shulker boxes over to the farm so that I can test it by oxidising them. And look at the farm now, it looks all nice and green. But let's get on and test it. So, if I put my copper shulker boxes in this chest, they'll start being unloaded as you can see here. Next, I flick on the lever to start the farm. Then, if I take a few blocks of copper to get me started, I can begin placing down the copper, and as you can see, more is being dispensed to me. So, the copper gets pushed up to the top of the farm. Then, at the top, it gets split into lots of batches in lines. Then, when all the lines are full, the copper gets pushed down a layer to make space for new lines. These lines are next to the oxidised copper to encourage the new copper to oxidise faster. The process of the lines being pushed down continues until they reach the bottom of the farm. Then, the lines are pushed out and across the bottom of the farm. The copper then gets moved up and out of the farm over towards the TNT blast chamber, where it gets blown up and goes into the chests. Now, I could have made a bigger farm or chained multiple farms together to ensure that the copper is all fully oxidized when it comes out, but I decided not to because sometimes I don't want fully oxidized copper, and also this farm took long enough to build on its own. Building one 4 times the size would have been a lot to do. So I'd much rather just put the copper through 4 times to fully oxidize it. Plus I don't use that much copper anyway, so it's not like it's going to save me any time. As I said earlier, this can be used on all different types of copper blocks, including stairs and slabs. But now all of my copper has gone through, so let's go check it. As you can see, some of it has started oxidizing, but not all of it. So I will load it all back into shulker boxes and send it through the machine a few more times. There we are, I'm out of copper now, and I've run this machine quite a few times. And look at all the copper that's come through. This machine has given me a good mix of all the different stages of copper. Although, I don't actually need any oxidized copper, so this farm is pretty useless. But with that complete, that is all 7 useless farms built, and in total, with all of these new farms, I can now farm over 100 new items. Now, quickly, before I go, I just wanted to let you know that I'm changing things up a bit. This is episode 22 of my survival series. Each of these episodes have been uploaded on the first Saturday of the month, every single month for the past 22 months, just like this one. But, as I'm trying to do bigger and bigger projects, this monthly deadline is constraining me more and more. So, from now on, I'm going to be breaking this cycle to give me more time to make videos. This should also give me more time to get better at editing, because at the moment, I'm having to rush to get videos out on time. So hopefully, this will allow me to make better videos in general, because I can take as much time as I need. I have some very big projects coming up, so don't forget to subscribe. I'm still going to try and upload as much as possible though. I'm not just going to disappear for 6 months. Hopefully. And if you want to know when I'm uploading, join the Discord, because I'll be doing updates over there. If you've enjoyed this video, why not click this one, where I designed and built a machine that can craft any item in the game automatically. Or click this one to see me build an insane music disc farm. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!